Hello everyone, Runesmith here. I've got a fairly quick project today. Well, it has to be quick because I don't have much time. So I'm going to do my best to get it complete. I recently received this cheap multi-tool, but it's actually very nice. It's working very well, it's nice and compact, and I like the fact that it's a compact multi-tool that has a nice set of pliers on it instead of scissors. And I was thinking I want to put some lockpicks in this, because who wouldn't? So my first thought was, got to remember where everything is now. My first thought was it's got a scalpel blade on it, so make a little pick out of that. It does work, I've picked brinks and things with it, but obviously it's a bit short. I can use a size 60 scalpel blade, and then I could cut a notch out the bottom there because that just looks like plastic. So maybe I could cut a notch and then it could sit in nicely. But it's nice having a non-locking under 3-inch scalpel style blade on there. So I'll probably be removing this and placing one of the normal scalpels back on. Then I saw that it has these hidden tweezers. And they sit in there quite nice. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that space there to hold a couple of emergency style lockpicks. So let's see how we get on with doing that. Like I said, we're going to have to be pretty quick. I also realised that it's pretty deep, the space you get in there, so you get a reasonable amount of length to put those picks in. So I'm going to cut a few sections off of this. Then I'm going to use the Dremel. So let me... so that I can file it down when needed. So now I've got these two, and because I'm being quick, I'm not going to hand file them like I normally do. I'm going to use the Cordless Dremel. I'm going to use the official Dremel Easy Speed cutting disc. See what was going on. I've got a couple of little picks roughed out. Now I'm going to move on to files so I can get a bit of a nicer shape on these. So I'll get the sanding barrel on these now to smooth off the edges, then I'll sand them a little bit and give them a little polish. A 1500 pad. Then I'm going to just hit them with a little bit of polish, white polishing compound. Right, now is where you have to think a little bit tactically. So if I have a profile here for SPP, then this is the rake end is the one where I want to be the top of the keyway tensioner. If I've got a rake, then the SPP profile is the one that I'm going to want to be a slightly longer hybrid bottom and top tensioner. Can I see that line? Yep. Then I'll mark that there because that's where it will sit nicely, and I'll also mark where I have to cut it, so it'll be about a cut. So far this is what we have. I may need to cut this down a bit, so let's measure them inside. Okay, so if you nest them in each other, then they both sit facing that way, and the bends, the wide bends that I've given these tensioners actually hold them in without them coming out. So let's file this last one down. Together. And see the fit. So I normally prefer square tensioners, but I've rounded this one off just so it's less likely to get caught on anything, because it does stick out a little bit there. If I turn them back to back, they will fit. They sit a bit closer, but I'd have to shorten this top of the keyway a bit more. And they're not as tight, so I think I'm going to have them nested. Maybe let's see what happens if I nest them the opposite way. Yeah, that seems to fit much better. So you do have a little bit there. Like I said, doesn't matter how long or how hard I hit that, they haven't budged slightly. So let's see if I can pick a couple of locks with them. I'll do some easy locks. Let's start with this little Brinks. So first I'll attempt to rake it. There we go. Then we can move on to SPP. There we go. And the more you practice with them, the better you'll get. Just because I'm not picking as efficiently as I normally would. And there we go. Bring it the other way. So I hope you liked my little multi-tool modification. Thanks for watching.